Hello, good evening. Welcome to the show. My name is Amma Pratt. This is The Couch, and I'm excited that this evening, this Thursday evening, you have decided to give us your time. You know that on Thursday evenings, our conversations are centered on politics and hard talk issues. This week is no different. Last week, we started our conversation on the happenings in Parliament, all the things that are happening in Parliament that we have never experienced before because of the peculiarities of this particular Parliament. This week, the conversation continues from the conversation that we had last week. This week, we are looking at the issue of the formation of quorum in Parliament and the effects on that, following on from the Supreme Court judgment, that issue. A lot of things that are coming up, for discussion presently in our country that hitherto we never really bothered with, I think that is a great learning process for all of us. I'm eager to learn this evening. I hope that you are too. And so we have our experts here to lead us in this learning, process. We will not leave or end the conversation there. We would also talk about what happened today when our finance minister spoke to the nation, so the finance minister's briefing. We will end our conversation there. Very exciting times, very exciting conversation ahead. I hope you are very prepared and ready for us at home. Let me introduce my guests. With me in the studio this evening, I have the Honorable Frederick Yao Ahinkwa. He's MP for Jaman North constituency. Hello, sir. It's great to have you here. Pleasure meeting you too, Honorable. Yeah. We also have in the studio the Honorable Abdulaziz Ayaba Musa, who is MP for Mion constituency. Hello, sir.
Hello.
Welcome.
Hello.
It's great to meet you too.
Great to meet you too.
So after today, both of you and the couch will be one.
Yes.
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 Great. Okay.
I think we've met before.
I think we have. Yeah.
You were in my office.
I was.
Okay. And then I met you in a lift too.
Okay.
And then we exchanged contacts.
Honorable, it's
So
you.
I have your
my
your
phone,
number
and I have your number too. Honorable.
Yeah, so usually I've been monitoring you on your status.
You see how you have to be careful what you put on our status.
Exactly. I'm interested in the surname.
In the surname.
Yes.
Why?
Is it Amma Pratt?
Yes, that's
Is it
it.
the Pratt that we know?
Which of them do you know? It's an honor to meet both of you again. Okay, so, and I was saying before we came on air, that this issue is doing my head in, I understand you, Honorable, when you say that it's simple, it's black and white. It seems simple, but then it's also very complicated at the same time. Let's start from somewhere. Actually, no. Let's start with this video. Let's start by watching this video on Minority Leader, and what he had to say about this. Also, I think we would, two videos actually, just as a honorable. Let's watch this and come back. So stay with us. We'll be right back.
For me, it is very rich for him to suddenly, after considering motion 33, because we just took a decision on motion 33, which he had no objection. That immediately after, he has a problem with the next motion. Mr. Speaker, I find it very rich.
Drawing the House attention that I'm just walking in, that when 33 was taken, we equally didn't have the number. You said that because you just said that you just took this. And if that is the case, unless it can be proven that after this one member stepped out, that one has been stood down. That one we didn't have the number to take that one too.
So we are reversing.
So, Mr. Speaker, I just want to draw your attention that both 33 and what you intend to do now do not have the numbers to take that decision. And therefore, that decision that was purported to have been taken on 33 should be rescinded because the numbers were not there. Now that you are raising it, unless you can prove that members stepped out, that means it was equally taken wrongly. And therefore, we need to rescind that decision. Motion for adjournment has been moved and seconded. I'm directing that only members of parliament who are here now are the ones whose name should appear in the vote of proceedings for today, unless there's evidence that somebody has been in and gone out. I would not accept a situation where we come on Tuesday and we have a list of 200 people present when we never had the number to take a decision. So please ensure that members who have been in only. Committee meeting is not plenary sitting. So whether the person wrote his name or not, if he's not in the chamber, please make sure he or her is marked absent.
Any other business after prayers is a decision this House takes. So I am struggling to appreciate clarity in terms of procedure. That if leadership says there is an understanding, the Supreme Court has made it clear that even a 30-year-old understanding in this House is not the law. Even a 30-year-old understanding in terms of procedure, it is not the law. So everything must be done in accordance with the letter and spirit of the law. So when the Supreme Court says that there has to be a quorum for commencement, once that is achieved, any other thing must be subjected to decision making. So, Mr. Speaker, with all due respect, even to decide how many members will debate to a motion and how long they debate, it's also a matter of a decision that this House must take.
Yes. Okay.
So, please respect yourself. I respect you as my chairman of the committee. Sit down and respect yourself. Why?
Honorable.
Why?
I'll come to you.
What disorderly conduct is that?
Honorable Samir, please, hold on.
It is said that, well, it is commonsensical, it is commonsensical. The Speaker, the law is never always in all the contexts being commonsensical or logical. I know of a situation where it was put in order that, but the law is illogical. And he said to them in the repository that when did anybody ever say that the law was logical? There are certain aspects of the law which aren't entirely common sense, but it is the law. So don't confuse the two, don't conflate the two. But it is fine. You want to stick to the quorum, 90-something of our people, that is true. But take out the question that issue has to be voted on. That is not what the Supreme Court has said. That's what the Supreme Court said. Let's stick to him. You won't let us do any work because we don't have 90 plus or whatever. Take this parliament, do whatever you want to do with this parliament. When we are tired, let us.
Welcome back. Welcome back to the show. This is still the couch. My name is Amma Pratt, and we are back in Parliament. You know, again. Last week we were in Parliament. This week we are in Parliament again, and this week, you know, the honourables leading us in Parliament are the Honourable Frederick Yawahinkwa, MP Jama North Constituency, and the Honourable Abdulaziz Ayaba Musa, MP for Mion Constituency. Okay, so let's just dive into the conversation, shall we? First issue that I have, and I'm going to read, it says here, on the issue of quorum, the Apex Court is of the view that the 1992 Constitution distinguishes between a quorum for business of Parliament, which is Article 102, and the quorum for decision-making, which is Article 104. Immediately, I'm concerned. What's a quorum for business? And then what's a quorum for decision-making? Isn't it the same thing?
No.
I'm confused. Please help me out.
Okay. First of all, I will say good evening to our cherished viewers.
Right.
And then my very constituents, because of whom I'm here. I'm here to serve them and serve Mother Ghana. So I can't be on this national television without greeting them. So kudos to them. Yeah. And then my constituency executives, headed by my able chairman, in the person of San Abraham and the rest. I think this issue is very, very important. And then delving into it, for us to understand ourselves, will restore the sanctity of Parliament. As we had off-cameras conversation, you were asking, when is the drama in Parliament going to cease? And the whole drama emanates from this quorum issue.
Right.
I believe there is time and it is due. We need this drama in a bud. Because the picture out there that is being portrayed about Parliament is not the best. But why is this thing going on? When you look at the Constitution, that is why I brought the Constitution here. I think whatever that we say, we must quote from the source. Our Constitution, when you look at the Constitution, it has made a provision for Parliament and then procedure in Parliament as to how we go about things in Parliament. So we don't operate out of vacuum.
Right.
We operate based on the law, rule of law. So when you look at the Constitution, Article 102, it says, a quorum of Parliament, apart from the person presiding, shall be 1/3 of all the members of Parliament. So, when we enter Parliament every day, prayers are being offered. After prayers, we look at the numbers. We are 275. The 275, at least 1/3 of that number should be present in the chamber before we commence business.
Right.
And that is the quorum, the first quorum we are talking about. So there's a quorum for commencement of business. And that quorum is supposed to be 1/3 of the 275. So roughly, when you divide 275 by 3, you'll be getting 91.6. So you can run it. By 91 or 92,
92.
I think a quorum has been formed. And with that, we can begin with our deliberative functions and then the actual things that we are supposed to do in the House. But after we have done all deliberations, we are supposed to take a decision.
Right.
That is decisions that will bind this country, bind you, and bind every citizen of this country. Because if it is loan that we are going to take from another country, the loan is going to be repaid by my very self, you, and every Ghanaian. So we cannot leave the executive to go and do something on their own. So they will go negotiate and then come to Parliament for ratification. On such matters, decision is supposed to be taken whether Parliament is approving or disapproving.
Right.
And when it comes to that, that is catered for in 104 clause, that article 104 1. Except otherwise provided in this Constitution, matters in Parliament shall be determined by the votes of majority of members present and voting, with at least half of all members of Parliament present. So when you look at half of 275, I think it is giving you 138. So once we have 138 in the House, it means decision can be taken, right? And out of the 138, what the majority will decide becomes binding on all of us as a country. But the issue here has to do with whether a deputy speaker is supposed to partake when it comes to this decision making.
Right.
But when you look at the quorum for commencement of business, it is saying that apart from the speaker or somebody who is presiding, when we count, we should get 92 apart from that person who is presiding, when we count the quorum, to have a quorum, we should have 92. So why is it that in the commencement of business, the one who is presiding is not counted among the member or the number that forms quorum? Is it not for a very reason? Because you presiding there, you serve as
Right.
a referee.
Right. Neutrality.
Neutrality. So when it comes to decision making too, there is neutrality. The speaker is a neutral person who mediates between the two sides. And he's supposed to be impartial.
Right.
And the same constitution says that in the absence of the speaker, there are two deputy speakers. When the two are present and the speaker is unavoidable absent, one of them, especially the first speaker, is supposed to ascend to that highest throne and then perform that impartiality function of the speaker. So how can a referee who is officiating between two teams to make sure that one does not take an advantage of the other, then remove his whatever gun he's wearing to say, I'm siding with one side after he has taken offsides, free kicks against the other side and all that. You see, although the judgment has come, but what I'm saying is that, like you said, there's a drama in Parliament, What brings the drama? It is this same issue that is causing the drama. So, people who, there's a lacuna in the law, there's a gap there. And then we go to the Supreme Court for interpretation so that that headache we have there will be taken off.
Okay. I want us to take a quick break, Honorables. When we come back, then you would respond.
So the headache we are talking about,
this is it.
In the face of this particular judgment that has been delivered recently by the Supreme Court judge, is it going to take that headache away?
We will answer that question when we come back.
And that is the issue.
Right.
Because I believe in pronouncing of judgment or in the pronouncement of judgment, we have to look at whatever is at stake in the face of the law.
Right.
Apart from that,
take a break, Honorable. Let's take a break and come back.
Okay.
Then so please stay with us to be right back.
Whatever the occasion, with ATL, you can never be out of style. ATL, bringing fabric to life. the occasion, with ATL, you can never be out of style. ATL, bringing fabric to life.
Welcome back from the break. Let's continue straight up. Okay. Honorable, so in conclusion, there's really no difference, is what you're saying.
So in conclusion, what I'm saying is that the judgment hasn't come to
help
do the needful, because somebody went to the Supreme Court for an interpretation that will end this drama that we have.
Right.
But as I was saying, we do judgment in face with the law. Whatever issue is at stake, we take it in face with the law. And after that, we look at common sense, okay? We look at precedents. And then the public court, the public opinion court, what they will say about it.
Public opinion, right.
You see? So, your very self, myself, how do we take what is out there now? Let's take the common sense aspect. A referee playing, and when you get to a time, that same referee will take a JC from the other side, wear the JC. When there's, let's say, a tie, a penalty, he will go and kick for one side and come back to officiate.
Interesting times ahead. Let me bring it on.
That impartiality is glare, you see.
Right.
And then to end it, the Supreme Court, when I read their ruling, they are talking about representation. Yes, before somebody becomes a speaker or a deputy speaker, after Parliament is dissolved, it is upon dissolution or when somebody resigns and there's a vacancy. That is where we fill the vacancy. And then, Amma, when you look at our standing orders, that regulates our conduct in the House. The standing order says, if I should nominate Amma to be a speaker or a deputy speaker, I should get your consent.
Right.
Okay? Before somebody will even second it. Right? Before we go into voting. So, you know very well that you've been nominated or you've been elected from your constituency by your constituents, right, to represent them. And then when you came to Parliament, you came and somebody nominated you to become a Speaker of Parliament. You should know what goes with that portfolio, right? You knew you are a representative. So why have you accepted to be the deputy speaker or the speaker?
In other words, you are saying that once you've agreed to be a deputy speaker, you are saying that I am accepting that I will not be.
Yes, because the portfolio goes with its pros and cons.
Right.
You understand? We are all members of Parliament.
We extensively discussed this
we are all members of Parliament. My constituents elected me to come and represent them. This country has been subdivided into 275.
Right.
And we are all representing our constituents.
But Honorable, it's not as simple as that.
Yes, so I'm coming. That is why I'm talking about common sense here.
Right.
You see, the Supreme Court is sounding as if that portfolio is being imposed on whosoever is occupying the position.
The issue is one of when you are speaker, you are not supposed to be a member of Parliament.
Yes.
That for me is the crust of the matter.
Yes.
And so the Constitution, standing orders, everybody appreciates the fact that you don't have a vote anyway.
Anyway.
Yeah.
But if it's a deputy speaker who is a member of Parliament, then it becomes a murky situation.
And that is where,
because of this issue of representation.
Yes, and that is where so for you to be a deputy speaker, it is not an imposition. It is not an
So
imposition.
it's a choice.
There is a choice. Somebody
Okay.
will nominate you with your
Okay.
consent, as I said.
Okay, but then it's not about you. It's about the people that you represent. Isn't
It's
it?
about, so you know you are here to represent your people.
Don't come and take on.
So don't come and take this,
Thank
because
you.
when you take it, you know it goes with certain
It will
things.
go against
because
the
we are
people.
all parliamentarians.
Right,
So
right.
why should you ascend to that higher throne and determine when I should speak? We are all there on equal capacities.
Right.
You understand?
Right.
So what qualifies you to ascend to that throne?
Right.
And then the moment you get there, you are able to
You
decide
want to eat your cake and
whether
have it,
I will
is what
speak
you're
or
saying.
I cannot speak.
Okay.
So you can't eat your cake and have
And
it.
have it.
That is why I'm saying
Let's
this
bring it
whole
honorable.
judgment is absurd.
Right,
To me,
right.
it is bleak and skewed.
Right.
You see, what motivated this is the e-levy.
Honorable, hold
Is there
on.
anyone who come to that?
Let's take baby steps, Honorable. I want Honorable to come in. And please help me out. It seems myself and Honorable are on the same page, it looks like. Because I still don't... Okay, so wait, let me take that back a bit. Honorable has explained to me, and correct me if my understanding of what Honorable is saying is wrong, that the difference between the business of Parliament and decision-making is just the act of us being in Parliament. That's the business. That's commencing proceedings, sort of. That's business. Because I didn't even get the differentiation here. So that's the business of Parliament. And then the decision-making is
It's different.
for instance, the climax of
Everything.
Everything that we are doing.
After we have
that
done the
differentiation.
deliberations.
So the business is just us being present, us being in
Sometimes the
Parliament.
business can be private business.
Right.
We have government business.
Right,
Private
right,
business
right,
is
right.
where we read statements.
Right.
We file questions from our various constituencies
now.
for
So the
ministers to come
business
and answer.
and then decision making. Points made. Okay. So then we are back to the Supreme Court, are we not? I thought we were moving on. Last week we spent the whole time in Supreme Court and in Parliament. I thought this week we only would stay in Parliament, but it looks like we are back in the Supreme Court. So with this differentiation, again, still can't have my way clear. What it means is that, like I'm saying, Honorable, if we need a quarter, not a quarter, 1/3 of all members of Parliament to start business.
With the exception of the person presiding.
With the exception of the person presiding. And yet somehow we need half.
Yes. To take a decision.
To take a decision.
Yes.
So in other words, we are saying that we can start the issue, but we might not end the issue because we don't have the numbers. So why don't we just start with, anyway, have and end with... please come in, Honorable.
But thank you so much. And I say good evening to your viewers and in particular my conscience. That's me on conscience. And good evening to my brother, Honorable Frederick. I think we are here, Ghana, we are discussing these issues because of what we currently have.
Right.
There's almost hung Parliament. So issues of this nature, it is expected. And like my brother said, Parliament was having issues with regards to who is supposed to vote and who is not supposed to vote. And that's why somebody, a citizen, decided to go to court, to go to Supreme Court for interpretation, because Supreme Court have been given that jurisdiction. Now, if you read Article 2(1)(b) of the Constitution, then you go and read Article 131 of the Constitution. Supreme Court has been given that powers to interpret our laws in this country. But what you have read with regards to a quorum for deliberation and a quorum for taking a decision, those are two different things. And I think the Supreme Court has done a very good job by simplifying these issues to us as members of Parliament and as Ghanaians. If you look at it, it tells you that in Ghana here we have what we call in Parliament the deliberative responsibility, and we have what we call the legislative. The deliberative have to do with when before a business is commenced, the quorum that is expected. So if you look at the framers of the Constitution, in their own wisdom, they thought it wise to make the deliberative function of Parliament to have a lower quorum as compared to Article 104.
So you are okay with this differentiation of 1/3
exactly
and half?
Exactly. My brother mentioned it in his when he was talking. He said it that we are here to take critical decisions that affect everybody in Ghana. So when it is time for such a decision to be taken, there must be importance attached to it. But for the deliberative function, the framers of the Constitution is saying that when 1/3 of members are present, excluding the one presiding, be it the Speaker, the First Deputy, or the Second Deputy, those three people are not supposed to be part of the 1/3.
Let me read that out. It says, it held that whereas Article 102 prevented any person presiding, any person presiding,
be it the Speaker or the two deputies, so they are not counted
from being part of the quorum for business of the House. Article 104(1) prevented only the person elected as Speaker and not the deputies from forming part of that quorum.
Exactly.
Confusing.
No, it's not confusing. It's just black and white. You see, my brother mentioned the one presiding playing a neutral role during the debate. So in this case, the person presiding is not supposed to be part of the quorum. So that's a lower quorum in Parliament to allow business to commence. The person presiding cannot take part in the debate. He can't take part in the debate. But when it comes to the legislative function, of which he's in Parliament, to take critical decisions that affect everybody in the country, including people from his constituency. So such a person, if you deny him that right to vote, you have denied all his constituents.
Isn't this confusing for you?
It's not confusing. It's very simple. It's not confusing.
I'm really confused.
If you go and read, my brother, you can read article that was standing orders. Yes, 1093 from 1091 to 1093. When you get to 1092. It prevents the Speaker. It says that the Speaker has neither casting vote. No, don't read. I will paraphrase it for you. Don't worry. I have it in my mind.
I know, but for the hearing of
yes, 9092 says that the Speaker has neither casting nor original vote. But when you get to 1093. It says that the deputies, the first and second deputy speakers, has no original vote. Whilst presiding. Yes. But the casting vote has not been mentioned for a purpose. And when you go and read 102, that says that before a quorum is formed, you must have 1/3 of the members present, with the exception of the one presiding. Then when you go to 104(1), before you put the question, it states that you must have half of the members present in the House. They have not mentioned, listen very well, they have no mention that with exception of the one presiding. It has not been mentioned.
Simple question.
Indirect.
Let me ask you a very simple question.
Okay.
I mean, we are being very technical with this. I like it, but let me ask a very simple question. So, I'm in Parliament to represent my people. I've been made Deputy Speaker.
Yes.
By virtue of all of these from 102 to 1902 and all of the other numbers, I cannot express, but I can take a decision.
Yes. Yes.
But isn't expressing part of representing my people?
It's part, but at that moment you are the one on the seat, so you are the one presiding.
Why can't you, Honorable, please, pardon me.
Okay.
Why can't both sides, your side, Honorable side, agree that there's a problem here?
Yes.
No.
There's a problem.
I'm coming.
So that both of you advocate
I don't think
for solving this problem.
No, I don't think there is a problem.
Because assume, Honorable, please,
no, I'm coming.
Pardon me,
Okay.
just hear me out.
Okay.
Assuming I'm in Parliament and the point of having people from every part of this country coming in, for me, it's not just about the numbers, it's about the expertise.
Yes.
Social, even
Yes.
social,
Yes.
you know, that you all bring into Parliament.
Yes.
So somebody has expertise in farming because
Yes.
of where he's coming from.
Yes.
Somebody in fishing.
Yes.
Somebody in carpentry. So
Yes.
the assumption is that these are people who are coming in with knowledge of diverse things coming into Parliament.
Yes.
Now, that way, if there's a discussion on farming, and I am the expert there, by virtue of me being in that moment as Deputy Speaker presiding, are we concerned about the fact that I can't contribute and perhaps I'm the one voice in Parliament who could have made the most meaningful contribution that could have perhaps even changed the voting patterns following on from the conversations that we would have in Parliament? Are you not concerned that I can't speak? I can't bring my expertise to bear. I just have to sit there.
What we see is that in course of deliberations, they guide.
Of course.
They guide our deliberations.
Of course.
But without necessarily taking part in a deliberation, they strengthen our line of
right.
deliberations.
What you said, I mean, is something that should be looked at, but that even doesn't prevent the two deputies, in case they have an interest on a particular topic. That's why there are two. If the speaker is not there, we have two deputies. If one of them thinks that he's an expert in a particular topic that is going to be on the floor for discussion, such a person can decide, can ask the other one to preside whilst he takes his seat and contribute.
Isn't this
No, I'm coming.
recipe
I'm coming.
for more drama?
You see, when you look at what we already have in our system, let's say the local government system, you have a presided member who presides over the assembly deliberations. The presiding members have the right to vote because they represent an electoral area. So it's just the same thing like Parliament. There's no difference. If you look at our local government system, that is what is stated.
But when you get there,
They have a custom
they are
vote.
part of quorum. They form part of quorum. The presiding members form part of quorum. Unlike
Right.
our
Yes.
situation here, where
Yes.
the
Parliament
presiding
is
member
different.
Yes, exactly.
is not
But
part
they
of
have a
quorum.
custom vote.
Can we take a position? You
And they
either
are not part. I'm
are
coming.
part
I'm coming.
Or you're not part.
No, I'm coming. And they are not part of deliberations as well. They also preside. You see, so there's nothing wrong, God has said. There is nothing wrong with whatever we have in our constitution. Where we were having challenge as a country or as people, or from my side, was the fact that the constitution or our standing orders didn't make it clear that the two deputies can vote. But if you read the articles that we have mentioned, the the standing orders, the
104,
1093 and 2 and 1, and you go and read the 102, then 104.
Right.
You come to appreciate that the framers of the constitution have not exempted the two deputies from voting. But the bone of contention was that these things were not made clear till the Supreme Court came in and made it very, very clear.
Right.
So like I said, it is black and white. There is no confusion. It's just, look, if you go to most of the Commonwealth countries, that is what they do.
Right.
The deputies, or if a speaker is a member of Parliament, they vote.
Okay.
There is nothing wrong with it.
So let's look at our peculiar.
It should be declared vacant. I'm telling you, it's the truth. The Constitution has catered for all this.
What is the Constitution?
That thing we overlooked.
No.
We overlooked. We'll come to that. I'll come. We overlooked some of these things. This controversy, I don't believe the judgment here will cure that drama and advocacy. So that going forward, if we are choosing a speaker who is neutral, his 2 deputies should be neutral, so that this thing that we see will not happen. Because it beat my imagination.
Which is the question that I posed last week.
It beats situation.
It's also.
You see, when you look at the Constitution, 104, it's saying that when a motion comes, the 2 sides will cast our votes on the motion, and then we split. The motion is considered as what? As a lost motion. So, in order to talk, okay, at your own convenience. I can rise up to talk. You can decide that I have not caught your eye. And then when even arguments are ongoing, you see, in the house, we call ministers to come and answer questions. When the ministers come, mostly is the opposing side that comes out with those questions. They always ask questions to expose whatever that is there. What I have observed is that when the questions are ongoing, and then the minister, the speaker who is presiding, in our situation, the 2 deputies, I will say now, are from the same side. You understand? So whosoever comes on the floor to answer questions, they are in the same fraternity there. So when the questions are ongoing, questions that will expose their weaknesses and things they are not doing properly, he just tell you, go and file a substantive question and come, just to prevent the person from answering the questions you see. So to cure all these things, if I'm a neutral speaker, my deputies are neutral and they come, I believe we will have fine deliberations, and then by the end of it, we decide properly as to what is good for this country. So I side with you that there should be a cure to this, and the cure is that we already choose speakers as neutral people. We should equally choose deputy speakers outside Parliament, so that this drama will stop. That is
is neutrality a good thing? Is it desirable in Parliament?
It's good.
And if it is, do you see why it's important to safeguard, this perception, I mean, do you see the wisdom here? Why it's important for the deputy speaker, if there's a possibility of him ever presiding, to be neutral?
Yes.
Right. Then we've made headway this evening. Right.
My brother mentioned that the second deputy speaker is doing business with us, and to him, I mean, it's not the best, right? You see, there's nothing wrong with the deputy speaker doing business with the majority caucus. Okay. There's nothing wrong with it. He could decide to do business with us, or to do business with the minority. It is allowed in our standing orders and in the Constitution. It is allowed. There's nothing wrong with it. I think the last time I came here, I had a discussion with one of our brothers from the other side. He also mentioned the same thing. I was surprised. Let's put the facts as it is. There's nothing wrong with the second deputy speaker doing business with the majority caucus. There's nothing wrong with it. There's no any illegality with regards to whatever is happening. It is allowed. Then secondly, with regards to what he said, I mean, like I said, because maybe he has not observed the local government system that we have in this country. That's where you and him are trying to say that the Supreme Court has not dealt with this very issue.
Oh, I haven't said that.
Yes, but you are proposing for an independent.
I'm proposing for an end to the drama in Parliament.
Yes,
that's my concern.
My brothers,
that's my concern.
It's very difficult to accept what the Supreme Court have ruled on. That's just the problem.
But Honorable, you just accepted that neutrality is very important in Parliament.
Yes,
whoever is presiding.
I'm not accepting to getting the two deputies coming from elsewhere. You said neutrality.
Yes.
Even the speaker himself is coming from a particular party.
Absolutely. But once you know that he can't vote,
He can vote.
he can't vote.
Yes, he cannot vote.
He
So
can't
those
join
who
the
can
conversation.
vote, those
He
who
can't
can
vote.
should be allowed to vote.
But
But the deputy speaker, when presiding, can vote.
That one doesn't come into the argument.
Honorable.
It does.
The issue is that
You see-
the speaker contested. He didn't contest on the ticket of NDC.
No. I'm saying you are talking of.
He was nominated by some members of parliament.
The speakers.
He was nominated by a member of parliament and then seconded by the other. So another person was also nominated by others. And these two people came to face. They came to face the.
Let's not
numbers.
create problems when there are no problems. I'm saying that.
We've gone to the Supreme Court, so Honorable.
My brother, Honorable Frederick, and their side, they are against this ruling because it is not favoring them. One day,
Because of the numbers.
One day, yes. One day, they find themselves in this situation. Maybe possibly on this same platform.
Right.
He will try to justify it. We want to be factual, and we want to move on as a country. Whatever that has been ruled on is black and white.
Honorable,
There's no
I appreciate what you're saying
about it.
And I agree with you, Honorable. Honorable, please hold on 1 second. I agree with you to the extent that depending on who it favors.
No, for us, if
Honorable, please hold on. Honorable, hold on. We might come back here and have this conversation.
Okay.
That's the reason why I would have hoped that we would have a solution that doesn't favor anybody, regardless which side you fall on. Regardless which side you fall on, so that it's black and white.
I'm saying that after the Supreme Court rule, there's no problem again. If a member or a citizen wants to have problem with it, then that's where the
But
problem
Honorable,
is.
the numbers are such that one person's vote means everything. Yes. And so presently, this issue would persist.
So that's what the Supreme Court is saying, that the two deputies have the right to vote.
Let's proceed. I want us to talk finance now. I'm looking at the time. Let me remind our viewers also that they can send in their views and comments. Viewers, so please, there's a number in front of the screen. Do send us your views, your comments. If you have any questions, like I have 1,000 questions, send them in. And our two honorables are very happy to answer all your questions.
I want to draw your attention to something.
Okay, Honorable.
When you look at the Constitution, Article 110, Clause 1. I said something earlier. In law, we use what we call precedent.
Right.
Okay. What has been the long-standing practice of the House? This standing audit is a subsidiary of this Constitution.
Absolutely.
It emanated from this Constitution. And the mother law guarantees this. I don't think it is out of place. That is why I'm saying this whole ruling, to me, is absurd. Because when you look at the Constitution, that is 110 Clause 1. It's telling you, subject to the provision of this Constitution, Parliament may, by standing orders, regulate its own procedure. Parliament, this is what the mother law is saying.
Right.
By the standing orders, Parliament will regulate its own procedure. What has been the long practice in the House? So if even the Supreme Court is saying that that is an illegality that has been perpetrated for long, once it has been practiced for decades.
Okay.
No, you see?
I'm coming.
Here we can speak about constitutional supremacy, isn't it?
Exactly.
Right.
You see where my brother.
Right. I really wanted us to move into, the finance minister's briefing.
If you read the Constitution like he just did, the 2:1,
right,
and the 130(I)(1), it has, like I said earlier, it has given jurisdiction to Supreme Court to come in case we are having issues with our constitution or with any of the laws in Ghana. The fact that the constitution has given Parliament the authority to come out with standing orders doesn't mean that if any of our standing orders or our articles in the standing orders is conflicting with the constitution, the Supreme Court should not come in. So if there is an issue, it is the responsibility of the Supreme Court to come in to interpret it for the understanding of everyone.
So now,
and they have done that.
Now we have it out there that
it was even part of the judgment, constitutional supremacy.
We have it. We have it. I know. I'm not against that, but what I'm saying is that this is a precedent. Okay, something that has happened years
so
over and over.
So something like a convention.
A convention.
The ruling has become a precedent. A precedent must start from somewhere.
So that is why
you see, court
with all these things, last week I was viewing this how do we call it, this program, News 5.
Yes.
No, Joy News.
Okay.
They called some lawyers, Bobby Banson, on some of these loan agreements that they brought. This German loan, that's a 200 million that loan that came.
Okay.
For how do we call it, the green something that project.
Yes.
I know when the thing came, we were calling of Koro. We refuted it the first time. Second day we did same. People were out there saying that we are sabotaging the work of Parliament and then pushing this country back. But it is on legality. You see, what is happening will not foster the consensus that we have. And you and I know that if consensus is not built, we'll be in trouble.
We'll be in trouble. I think we should move on. I
thought this was not something we should have veered into.
Right. Let's move on.
It has been there years over and over, but because of convenience,
I think that's where I have problem.
You don't have.
You and my brother, you both indicated that there is confusion with regards to this. So if there is confusion, the one given the responsibility must come out clearly to explain to us. And when they do, let's try to get the understanding of whatever they have said, so that it will guide us in our dealings.
So, even in the house,
but if after the house rule, then you still have issues with
you can still have issues, Honorable. You can still have issues.
In the house, how many forms of voting do you have?
When he was starting, he indicated that this is an e-levy support.
So
we are of the opinion that the Supreme Court did this thing just to support government. And that is where they are wrong.
What brought it?
That is
what brought this whole thing?
It's the e-levy.
For somebody to go to the court for interpretation. It's not the e-levy that's
for the e-levy.
But it's for what?
It is not just for the e-levy.
For what?
It is for to guide Parliament as to whether the two deputies can vote or not in subsequent issues.
And that is what I'm saying.
The e-levy is not the only
in the face of the law
that will require Parliament to vote, right? There will be other issues that Parliament will have to take a decision. So the ruling has, though it is the e-levy that has started it, but it is not ending with the e-levy.
Okay, I really want us to move along. Let's move along. I think we concluded on this.
Yes,
I honestly find
there is something. You see, what is happening?
You are now okay.
Because I thought that we had concluded on this issue,
for our democracy.
and we had all agreed.
It's not good for our democracy. You see, they are defending what is not good. You see, when you come to the house after we have done our deliberations, the first thing that we do is a voice vote. After deliberation, the speaker will call for a voice vote, and then he, with his own discretion, will decide whether the yes have it or
the nays have it.
Yes.
Okay.
So when I'm asking at that point, when he throws the questions, It's a form of voting to decide, to take a decision. So that time when he's throwing the question, which of the two sides does he align himself to?
Honourable, we've progressed from here. Let's move along. Honourables.
The majority side, that's it.
My two honourables.
Yes.
This whole thing is
my honourables. Let honourable. I honourable. No, I am the only speaker here. Honourable.
Yes, you are the speaker here. But I know you will not steer affairs and come back.
Oh no, I will not.
Like they are doing in the chamber.
Decide on a vice vote. Members have the right to still challenge.
Right.
So our laws have taken care of all these issues.
Honourable.
It's just for people to appreciate and understand. Then we move on.
Absolutely. Like I want us to move on.
Yes.
I think that all of us have agreed that the neutrality concept is important and needs to be preserved.
Yes.
And for me, that's the most important thing in this conversation. So perhaps I would ask that both sides look at how we can achieve this neutrality.
Okay.
I'm in no position to recommend anything. I'm sure that, both sides are very learned enough. And I've said this. I said this last week. I'm saying it again. I would have hoped that the two deputies would not. Exactly.
Yes, I'm on the same tangent with
that. So it never comes up again. It never becomes an issue again. Whether the NDC has majority or the NPP has majority or we have a split parliament like we do, it never becomes an issue again. That's what I would have, But let's go straight to finance. Let's start the conversation by watching another video, and that's the video of our finance minister, speaking on something that is dear to every Ghanaian's heart right now, the issue of fuel. He speaks about fuel reduction, about 15 pesos in fuel reduction. I want us to take that. Let's take that.
Insignificant.
And then we will listen to the minority, react to the Minister of Finance briefing. Let's watch these two videos. Come back and conclude. Stay with us.
Mitigation measures. Ladies and gentlemen, the rising prices of fuel at the pumps is influenced largely by the rising crude oil price on the international market and the exchange rate depreciation. Though the rising crude oil prices should have been to our benefit on net basis, Ghana's import of petroleum products amounts to 5.2 times the value of proceeds from its crude oil exports. In 2021, for example, we exported $3.947 billion of crude, of which Ghana's portion was $513 million. However, we imported $119 of crude and finished products. So the purported windfall gain in foreign exchange is quite a mirage. From January to date, the average export price of diesel and petrol have increased by 57% and 45% respectively. Unlike in other countries where the hike in crude oil prices and exchange rate volatility are leading to shortages in supply of petroleum products, government is implementing measures to guarantee constant supply of petroleum products. To mitigate the impact of the rising price of petroleum products at the pump for the next 3 months, government has decided to reduce margins in petroleum price buildup by a total of 15 pesos per litre with effect from 1st April. The details are as follows. Post margin reduced by 2 pesos per litre, Unified Petroleum Pricing Fund margin reduced by 9 pesos per litre, fuel marking margin reduced by 1 peso per litre, primary distribution margin reduced by 3 pesos per litre.
His measures does not respond to a country which is debt distress. Our debt is simply not sustainable. We are told that an additional 45 billion have been added to our interest payment for the first quarter of this year. Where is he going to raise that money? Even with an expenditure cut of about 31 billion, when he already had a deficit of not less than 6.9 billion. He must come properly. On the matter of foreign exchange, he was silent on it all we heard is that some 2 billion cedis will be brought, $2 billion will be brought in. That is not enough. We need to have a national conversation on how to increase and expand our exports and reduce imports and stop these knee-jerk responses to exchange rate falls. When the chairman of the economic management team, Dr. Mahmoud Baumia, said that he has the key to arrest the depreciation of the dollar, he probably thought that it was as easy as stopping a trotro from Wulugu to Savulugu. It was as easy to stop depreciation of the cedi. He thought it was as easy as stopping a trotro from Wulugu to Savulugu just on the roadside. These are not easy measures. So I thank you very much. The ranking member and deputy ranking will respond appropriately to the text, but we do not find the measures adequate enough to deal with a country which is in debt distress. We do not find the measures enough, which is increasing the cost of doing business for Ghanaian businesses, in particular importers who rely on Forex to be able to do their business. So his responses is woefully inadequate for an economy which they have inflicted a rising cost of living and rising cost of doing business.
Welcome back to our conversation. Let me reintroduce my guest to you again. I have the Honorable Frederick Yao Ahinkwa, MP for Jaman North constituency, and the Honorable Abdulaziz Ayaba Musa, MP for Mion constituency. We are coming to have, this finance conversation, which is very important. But just before we do that, I just want to bring in our viewers, just a few of the messages we've received. It shouldn't start the conversation about Parliament again. No reaction.
We are moving
on. All right. This one says, Honorable, please, we, your constituents, are strongly against e-levy. We cannot be robbed for lavish lifestyles. His name is Sir DeGraft at Kokwa. You didn't say which of the honorables.
It's me.
Oh, it's you, eh? Yeah. Okay. This one says, hi, Pan-African TV. I'm Benedict, watching live from Sampa, Jaman North District. Fantastic clarification by Honorable Frederick. The judgment by the court is unfair concerning voting in Parliament by the deputy speakers or a member presiding. Keep the good works. This one says, my dear, you inherit the powers and limitations of the seat. A Supreme Court judge sitting in the High Court does not retain the power of the Supreme Court. He's limited by the seat. This one says, good evening. I want to tell the NPP MPs that supports anything from the president, they should have a listening ear from the people that made them MPs. His name is Mahime Dominic Yin. From Bolgatanga, Tongo. In fact, we the youth reject e-levy. Back to sender, Vice President Baumia. This one says, good evening, my name is Solomon from Klikoketu South. Please, I just want to ask that can a judge who is sitting on a case be chosen as a lawyer at the same time to defend someone in that case? This one says, good evening, Amma. Greet your panelists for me, especially the Honorable Aziz Ayaba Musa. I like his submission. He should keep the fire burning. This is Soyibu Seyedu Sang from Mion District.
Okay.
This one says, Honorables, please listen to your messages. This one says, when the deputy speakers call for voice votes, does the deputies also shout yes or no to add their voice in the votes? And if not, then they should cast their votes. His name is Ajay Yebua Ajumako in Techiman. This one says, now all the two deputies can come from one side of the house as far as they can all vote. His name is Chris from North Legon. Right, let me see if I can. Okay. Okay, this one says, Honorable Ahinkwa, the good people of Jaman North made no mistake in electing you as our rep. In fact, you represent our views and we are really proud of you. Keep soaring higher. Keep on your good works for your constituents. We are solidly behind you. This is again from Sedi Graft. We are never in favor of e-levy. This one says, my greetings to Honorable Musa and to you. My name is Yamba Kwabna from Galilee Market. Hi, Yamba. This one says, good evening, Amma. Greetings to you and your guests. Whatever the Supreme Court is doing now, they should remember that it goes against the whole country. Some years, it will go against the whole country in some years to come. Fairness nowadays doesn't... right. Greetings to Honorable Ahinkwa Frederick and to Honorable Sir Ibrahim, Jaman North NDC chairman. Message from a Japan Duadaso #1, Sampa. This one says, Amma, please, I want to know if the deputy presiding can or also shouts when the question is asked. Right, this one says, action, Techiman. My regards to Honorable Ahinkwa, good work done. God bless you. This one says, hi, if Parliament is to be presided by an elected neutral speaker and in his absence by a deputy, and now we have a hung Parliament with a partisan speaker, how do we move on once the Supreme Court has spoken? This one says, good evening. It is very sad to see how the MPP tries to defend the indefensible. They should bow their heads in shame. We have lost hope in them, and they should start resigning one by one, starting from the president down to Abronye. God himself will judge them. Abronye. His name is Ebenezer in Koboland. This one says, thanks to your panelists for their information. Isn't it better to have one deputy speaker from each side of the house? His name is Yaya from Ankasi, Kumasi. This one says, hi, my name is Alero from Sampa, Jaman North. I'm watching my MP, the Honorable Ahinkwa. You do all. Now, everybody in this country knows that Ghana as a nation is galloping. 2024 is around the corner. NDC is coming back. This one says, I'm happy about the submission from my MP. The MPP wants to contribute to national development. They should go to GRA district level and donate. We won't pay e-levy today and tomorrow. God bless you, Honorable. I'm Frank from Suma Ahinkro. This one says, good evening. Greetings to Honorable Abdulaziz Ayaba Musa, double MPs for delivery. I don't get it. His delivery is on point. Yusuf Abdul Gafaru from Mion constituency, from Sang, I think. Okay, so there are some messages on Facebook. I will try to read them when the time comes. I think I've done enough. Okay, so Honorable, I'm coming straight to you.
Yes.
Our finance minister has spoken.
Yes, at the right time.
Extensively so, today. Are you happy? General impression. Quickly, we don't have enough time. Are you happy
as a citizen of this,
with what was said?
It has given us relief. I'm happy that where we are as a country, all these interventions that the finance minister has mentioned, we expected that the government would listen and come in to see how we can be able to find our way out of where we have found ourselves. It's a global crisis, which I don't need to speak on. But the finance minister has outlined things that they will be doing from now on, so that we'll be able to change the situation in this country. And that is very commendable. And we are so happy. You see, if you look at whatever he said they will do, they will be cutting down. Appointees are supposed to cut down 30% of their salary. Then the Council of State members have also agreed to also cut down their allowance up to 20%. Yes, then they will be cut down, in the expenditure by the MDAs, that's Ministry of Department and agencies. Their expenditure is supposed to be cut down. Then government is also injecting $2 billion into the system so that the exchange rate will be able to control very well, so that businesses can boom again. Then the Bank of Ghana is also talking about increasing the policy rate. That's to 17%. That is expected. So that at the end of the day, they will be balancing the system or in the economy.
So you're happy about the measures?
Yes, I'm so much happy.
Right.
You see, we took the economy from a GDP of 3.5. That was in 2016. And we moved it to 8.1 in 2017. I'm coming. Then in 2019, COVID came in. COVID came in.
So you are doing well?
Yes, we're doing well.
Right.
Well, we have performed, I think if you look at the economic performance of the country, during that period before COVID, we have performed better than any other government in this country. Yes, I can give you the figures that the finance minister indicated. If you look at where we came from.
Oh, Honorable, you leave the figures alone. No. You leave the figures alone, Honorable. Let's go.
Inflation was very high.
Right.
Then we moved it to 7.6. So if you look at all the economic indicators, we were on the right path. Then COVID came in. Then when we were just about to exit from this COVID, then Russia and Ukraine war also started.
Yes.
I heard somebody who indicated that this war has nothing to do with our economy. I mean, it will be it. If somebody in a position or somebody who's supposed to know better state this, I mean, you will be doing disservice to Ghanaians. We export to Ukraine and Russia, and we also import from them. We pick our grains from there, fertilizer from Russia, iron ore and steel, we pick it from Ukraine. And we also export cocoa beans to Ukraine. So if you think that these things will not be affected, or if these things are affected, it won't affect the economy, then you are not being fair to Ghanaians. We should all come to accept that the world is in crisis. A week ago, I was in Monrovia for a program. We were in the middle of the program, around 12 to 1. Then there was blackout. Then they went and started their plant.
Right.
Within 30 minutes, there wasn't fuel in the generator. And in the whole city of Monrovia, they couldn't get fuel to buy.
This is last week.
Just last week. I attended an ECOWAS extraordinary session. We are all seeing what is happening in Nigeria, how people queue to buy fuel, and in other countries. So in Ghana here, we are even blessed. So when we were supposed to close the program around 5, one we have to close and continue the next day. They quickly have to go outside to mobilize fuel to come back so that the next day
you can proceed.
So where we are as a country, please, we can always do politics, but let's be fair to the people in this country.
Okay.
We need to be frank with them. We don't need to do politics with some of these issues. Like
so for you,
if I want to tell you where we took the economy from and where we have gotten to till all this thing started. But all the same, we are doing well.
Right.
And I admire what the president said, that he has the opportunity to bring the economy back to life, but he has no ability to bring people back to life. If you look at the COVID era, what we have done to ensure that we stay on track, it was massive. I remember one time we went to Abuja and we were applauded. When we submitted our country's report in ECOWAS Parliament, we were applauded. The measures the president took to be able to find a way to deal with the COVID, we were applauded and we were adjudged the best. And other countries were advised to come to Ghana to learn from us. Then when we were just about to move from the COVID, then another
Wow.
So like I'm saying, let's all appreciate whatever is happening and whatever measures the finance minister is proposing as citizens of this country. Let's help to implement these things.
Right. So that we can all come out.
The ordinary Ghanaian will have the opportunity to live well.
Right.
And do better.
That's all we care about.
That's what we want.
Right.
Yes.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. Honorable.
Okay, come on.
Honorable, the minute we hear reduction, intervention, shouldn't we be happy? These are good. These are good things.
What I would say is that this is a deception.
Deception.
Yes, the government is trying to portray that he's putting some austere measures in place.
No, we're being given figures.
I'm coming.
15 pesos.
I'm coming. 15
That's an
pesos.
actual figure.
Why am I saying it's a deception? Yeah. Why am I saying it's a deception? Can you mention the items that had this reduction? The bust margin, the UPPF, the marking. When you itemize these four things, the bust is a limited liability company, which revenue doesn't accrue to the government. Let's see the real revenue from the fuel that accrue to government. The ESLA, the Special Petroleum Fund, and what have you. All these things go to the government. Let me be precise. Energy Debt Recovery Levy, that is 49. Road Fund Levy, 48 pesos. Price Stabilization and Recovery Levy. No, I am talking about, these are the components that goes into the build-up of the fuel price.
Yes.
You see, and where we have had the reduction is where those revenue doesn't accrue to the government. So when we are talking about government revenue, it is not affected in any way. You have just pushed the burden to bust and then the OMCs.
It's about burden sharing.
What I'm saying, burden sharing. So in the government build-up, the revenue, the other revenues that accrue to the government, what have we seen? If we are sharing burden, what have we seen? Per what you are saying, it's a burden sharing. Yes. I share with you. I share your idea or whatever.
That's what the finance minister said. In fact, I've heard 3 or 4 ministers use the same phrase.
When two people are sharing something, you take part. I also take part. Here is the case. I've shown you the build-up price. Okay, we have the other. Those I have mentioned. The revenue that comes from those sides doesn't go to the government. So we are talking about the revenue that accrue to the government. That is still part of the build-up of the fuel price. What has happened to that? I have mentioned those things here. The energy recovery debt, the stabilization fund, the special levy, and what have you. All these things goes to the government. 49%, 48%, and what have you. So these are the areas. It is not affecting government's revenue.
No, it won't bring relief to Ghana.
I say it is not affecting. Let's see. We are talking about austere measures.
Yes.
So and then we are saying it's a burden sharing.
Yes.
Burden sharing. What is government also sacrificing? So I'm saying this is negligible because these figures, when it comes to ESLA, the other levies, we should see some small reduction, at least to have pushed it ahead.
Are you making a recommendation that this is you are?
No, the way the 15%, the way the 15% is being portrayed as something that is 15 pesos is being played out. How he is it? What I'm saying is that let's push the government from his comfortable zone. Okay, he has his revenue that accrues from this impositions. What is the government doing about those areas?
Right, Honorable.
Let's do something about
this
it.
Is something
and then
Honorable, please hold on, just to support what you're saying.
Yes,
I'm reading this from the Honorable Ato Forson, right, and he says the fiscal measures announced today are just cosmetic and empty. It will further erode confidence in the economy, and he has a few recommendations. He says government should, 1, place a moratorium on new loans. 2, cut 2022 foreign finance projects by at least 50%. 3, deliver on promise to review all flagship programs. He believes that these are the 3 measures if government prioritizes, perhaps,
that is his
this economic situation that we are in. But he seems to share Honorable's opinion that it's cosmetic.
Amma, you don't expect that.
Deceptive.
You don't expect that Frederick and Atuforsen will entirely agree with whatever the finance minister has put out. You don't expect that. I don't expect that. I don't. And majority of Ghanaians don't expect that. So it is well understood. We don't have problem with whatever position they want to take.
Do you know when?
But at least we are advocating for a consensus building. Even if you have issues with these things, like he rightly put it out, let's put those things out.
Right.
Maybe in the near future, it will be part of our policy direction.
So what we are saying is that the government can do better. At least when you look at the special petroleum levy, our time we brought up levy between 2014 2015 when the prices of fuel has gone down. Now what are we seeing? We are in a difficult period. You understand? So if the prices are going up, at least we can do. I am not saying that reduction is not good. It's good, but what I'm saying is that the government can do better.
Okay, so
you understand? So we are doing the propaganda out of it too much. And then you were portraying a picture that the economy was very good until COVID set in. We were here last week when the World Bank country director came. That don't say that has been a yardstick all this while.
Our time is up.
I will run up. That has been a yardstick all this while.
Okay, run up.
When figures favors you pick them. When the figure doesn't favor you. So what I'm saying is that
the World Bank
report came, and then what they said was that the economy started deteriorating before even COVID set in. And let's see, when COVID came,
so the same reports, different deductions from the same reports. I need to read this report.
But Aziz will not tell you what will affect
Don't worry, I read it from last time you come out, I've read it.
Monies that accrue to them. We know the World Bank came and assisted, grant from IMF, donor countries. Look at the money we gave. You are saying that you went to Abuja. Abuja were applauding you. Ask them how much loans did they accrue just in the name of COVID.
Okay, our time is up.
We took all this money. We came and shared money to our party, our cronies, and the party faithfuls, and we are saying we did what we called.
Honorable, one last thing. This one says, "Good evening, Amma. Let them remember that we are all citizens and not spectators. So they should listen to the citizens and do the needful." His name is Waxen from Akokwa in Bono East, and that's the only message that unfortunately I would read. There are so many people greeting you from your both of you. From your constituencies, yes, so most of your, constituents are greeting, and they seem
so I'm
our time is up.
Yeah, to end. Oh,
you have ended.
It's my distance.
Okay, 2 seconds.
Yes.
2 seconds.
Then I will take.
So 2 seconds.
No, 2 seconds.
No, you have. He gave you all the time.
That's 2 seconds gone.
So the 2 seconds. What I'm saying is that they are claiming they are doing better. They could have done better.
Yes.
Right.
You have disappointed Ghanaians.
Oh.
You have this austere measure should have been done earlier. We are here every day. You book flight. You fly $14,000 per hour, and you can fly 24 hours in the sky like this. All these expenditures. From where?
Thank you, Honorable.
This hardship, you have brought it to us. And we think we can do better.
Is still failing to accept that we have crisis.
Where are the crises?
That's a problem.
Where are the crises?
So till you identify the problem, it will be very difficult to offer solutions.
Thank you.
We identified them earlier and told you. Just that you people
we are bouncing back. The
whatever
is going to come back
Amen.
fully.
Amen.
We'll be happy
when you are gone. When you are gone in 2024.
Honorable Frederick Yao Ahinka, MP for Jamal North constituency. Thank you, Honorable Abdul Aziz Ayaba Musa, MP for Mion constituency. I'm so grateful that both of you made time to be here with us tonight. I hope next time when we call you come again. Great, absolutely. So thank you for watching. Thank you for sending in your views and your comments. I hope that your questions were answered. If they were not, keep sending them in. Honorables are now one with a couch, and so we can always send it to them. They'll come back and they'll answer your questions. Thank you. I'll see you tomorrow. Don't forget, tomorrow we have a date with our minister, the Honorable Abu Jinapo. We have a lovely conversation with him tomorrow. So do stay tuned. Same time, don't forget, I'll see you tomorrow. Have a lovely evening. Bye.
You see, whenever you are given a role to play, focus 80% of your attention, 80 to 90% on the role. My father kept telling us that even if you are the person who is required to sweep so well that when you are talking about people who sweep, they say, yes, Jinapo is the best person when it comes to sweeping.
I think you're a very intelligent man.
Are you sure?
I'm
flattered,
so.
though. I'm flattered.
Please be. It's not a great time to minister, is it?
Well, it's a very exciting time to be minister.
Really?
Yes, there's no two ways about that. President Akufo-Addo is the first person to recognize that we are in difficult times and that we are in challenging times. He said it several times. Ghana's situation, with the greatest of respect, is not an exception at all. On the instructions of the president, the finance minister is going to speak to the country and set out measures which the government is going to implement to cushion the Ghanaian people. You saw a caring president in action who came and stepped forward and offered leadership and put in place policies to protect the population.
My caring president and my caring executive, in this time where the whole world is struggling with COVID and all of these, they should not be wanting to tax me.
No. The contours of the e-levy is there for all of us to appreciate. I'm not too sure we'll have sufficient time. We have to get to a point of burden sharing.
Burden sharing.
Burden sharing. And the burden sharing must be equitable. So, a gorgeous-looking lady like you, who is adorned with all kinds of ornaments, which I'm not about to price here, because if I did, you would be in bad business.
Let's go ahead.
I wish I had your bag here.
Let's go ahead.
I wish I had your bag here.
Now we call it playing on a budget, Honorable. I'm sure the Mrs. has told you all about it. It's playing on a budget.
I wish I had your bag here. And I dare not mention the brand of your bag. Someone like you have to pay a bit more, Amma. That's the whole point about burden sharing. And that we are all not capable at the same level. And that we all don't have the same opportunities. And that we all don't have the same background. And that there was someone like me who was raised in Fufusu and therefore who will not have had the education that your father gave you. And so the state must intervene. That is compassionate conservatism. Is the passage of the electronic transactions levy in the national interest?
Do you think that it's in the national interest, Honorable?
Of course it's in the national
interest. The people of Damango, have they told you, Honorable, that it wants the
It's obviously in the national interest. It's meant to revamp our economy. It's meant to generate revenue for us to build the roads in this country, to build the schools in this country, to crank the economy.
Honorable, no Ghanaian is happily waiting for a levy.
Say again?
No Ghanaian is happily waiting for the levy.
What poll have you conducted? When he bought a generator, every day he will put on the generator exactly 6:45 p.m. And 7 o'clock, all of us will sit around a small TV with all the stars. You know that TV, black and white. They call it black and white. And then we will watch the television. This was the 90s, And on many occasions, somebody must be behind the room tilting the pole, the antenna. And when it's getting interesting, and the antenna is, you shout, move it this way, please, and then you can,